Alright, perfect. Welcome to the Daily Technicals Live session, guys. Today is July 19th, 2018, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the dollar index per usual, and finally we have some things to talk about. Okay, so can everyone hear me okay? Let me know in the chat box. Just type a 1 in there so I know that I'm not talking to myself, but I'm going to go ahead and continue. So with dollar index, we've been talking about these equal highs at 95.50, right? And we've also mentioned this weekly ICT bearish order block. So this level comes in at 95.62, and I've been talking about how whenever we get up here, there's going to be two things that's going to happen. We're either going to get a continuation, so the daily candle is going to close above it and we're going to continue higher, or we're going to form a ugly wick and we're going to trade lower and come back for these equal lows below 93.20, because seasonally we're going into a bearish seasonal tendency for dollar index. So this may be all they needed to do was run up here, take out these equal highs, hit this weekly ICT bearish order block, and then now, well, we've already seen rejection, but we want to see them break below this low, and then that should suggest, at that point we're below that 94.35 level, which is 50% of the range from these equal lows to these equal highs. And if we get back below there, it's more than likely that we're going to go for this low here and then ultimately take out these equal lows here at 93.20. And if we get a big bearish candle pushing through these equal lows, and we trade down here relatively quickly, then we're going to be looking for this low here to be taken next, which would be coming in at 92.20. So, just outlining, we haven't been too active in the markets this week just because of the fact that, overall it hasn't been that clear. We've been in this consolidation, but now we have something to work with. Even though that we are back within this consolidation, the fact that we've come up here, cleared out these equal highs and hit this weekly ICT bearish order block and have since showed rejection is a pretty good sign to me, indicating that going into the fall months, that we could very well have a weak dollar index, which should promote higher prices in foreign currency. So we could see some pretty big moves unfolding in euro and cable, and we'll talk about those in just a second. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand, whenever we don't necessarily have to be trading every single day, while the market's pushing up here to clear out these equal highs, but now we have a little bit more confidence with what they're going to do, so the fact that we've showed rejection here is a good sign to me that it's likely that we're going to continue lower. I'm not trying to say that this is the high, but if we do get below here, below this low, that 94.35 level, I would be pretty confident that the high would be in place, and it would be a longer term high. So meaning if we go out to a monthly or longer time frame, we could see this market trade lower, potentially into this ICT bullish order block here, which comes in at 91, which is about 400 pips away. So over the next month or two, think about the price action we could get. That could be it, because look at what we've got here on a monthly basis. Remember what I said about everything that I teach on terms of lower time frames is relative to the higher time frames, right? So if you guys look at this chart, you could see here that this swing broke market structure, right? Because what were we doing on this push up? We were forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. What happened here? There was a lower low that formed. Between this low right here and this low, this one is lower than this one. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what could be happening. Well, we've just cleared out the liquidity above these highs, this high, which was last month's high, and we've traded into this level here, which I don't talk about too much, but this is an ICT breaker. So basically, it's a down candle before a run up that takes out stops, and then a break in structure. So this down candle right here is an ICT bearish breaker. What it is, it's basically a down candle. So it's a previous ICT bullish order block, basically, in a simple form. So this was a down candle before an up move, which was an ICT bullish order block, right? Once we traded through that, you can see that it acted as resistance because it was old support. So just think of an ICT breaker as, you know, old support becoming resistance and old resistance becoming support. So in this case, it's old support. So this candle was support. Then we've traded through it here, traded into it, acted as resistance, sold off. Now we've traded back up into it, so we could hold resistance here again and start selling, start pushing lower. After we've cleared out the liquidity above last month's high and this high here. So if we just look at this on a bigger, bigger time frame, a wider perspective, it looks like they could be wanting to, push lower from here. It doesn't mean they have to go below this low, but they could come down to this ICT bullish order block, which would be a potential 400 pip move, over the next couple months or so. So even though this is a higher high that's formed, you still have to look back and see what it's within. So if we get above this candle, so what does this high come in at? 96.33. So if we get above 96.33, then we can expect that dollar index is going to go higher. But if this candle holds as resistance, we have to assume that they're going to go lower. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that on a larger scale. So again, daily time frame, we want to see this low break because we are anticipating that dollar index could be weak. Could get weak because for the seasonal tendency, it is bearish. So generally, basically what that means is around July, August, if you look at previous data, dollar index is usually bearish. Doesn't mean every single year it will be, but usually it is. So if that's the case, and we've just had all these indications that dollar index could be weak, then this could be some really nice moves that are going to line up for euro and cable. So let's go ahead and talk about euro real quick. Euro's daily candle was really ugly. It didn't do anything, honestly. It opened, you see it traded up and then traded lower and literally just closed back here. So it's just, this one's still stuck in this range here. But we did have this. So this 4-hour ICT bullish order block here, this down candle before this big strong push up, and we also had this low right here. So you can see the market dipped into that, found support at this level, and pushed higher. So we have made a higher high here. But again, I don't want to just try picking the bottom and saying, oh, okay, this is going to be, where euro is going to, just push higher for the next couple months. I don't know that for sure, but it is possible because we've cleared out a lot of liquidity. We've traded into this ICT bullish order block, and it seems like they may be wanting to hold this 1.15 big figure level. So we could start trading back up for these equal highs here at the 1840s to 1850s. Euro, we're just gonna kind of let it do its thing. I'm not gonna take any trades or anything for the remainder of the week. So yes, I am gonna end the week with negative 30 pips. I don't like doing that, but at the end of the day, it's only 30 pips. So for the month, we're still up about 60, 70 pips or so, and I'm not really focused on, trying to make a killing every single July, because generally those months are just slow. A lot of people are on vacation, and a lot of people aren't putting money to work, so that's why we get these consolidations. But we have to think about the bigger picture and longer term perspective. We could see significant selling start happening in dollar index, and that could really propel euro dollar and cable a lot higher. So let's look at GBP, and we have finally cleared out the liquidity below that 1.30 level, so that 1.30 big figure level. Now what we're going to talk about is this. Alright, so look at this down candle right here. This down candle before this big push up made a higher high, broke structure, and there was a lot of buying that took place within this down candle. We know that because after the market traded down here, we've seen a significant rally. Alright, so the market traded back here, but it didn't get back to this level, which was the ICT bullish order block. This is on a daily time frame. So the high of this candle comes in at 29.66. Let's put that on our chart. All right, and again, we've been talking about this 1.30 big figure level, which is below these equal lows, and we've got that that other low that was over here, so it's like that triple bottom, whatever it is. But look at where the market traded into today. Right into this ICT bullish order block. The low comes in at 29.57, and the level is 29.66. So that's like 9 pips or whatever it is. That is, off of a daily time frame, like the low of the day was 9 pips off. So it was 9 pips of drawdown, if you think about it. If you bought it here, I'm saying, but I'm not saying that this is going to be the low again, just like with everything else, but we have to look at these things and really observe like how price action is behaving and what the market is telling us, because since dollar index is seasonally going into a time frame where it's usually bearish, that generally means that foreign currency is stronger, right? So we should see bullish price action start occurring in foreign currency pairs. So I want to break this down real quick on a lower time frame, and I'm just going to go ahead and go to a 4-hour really quickly. So actually no, it's not a 4-hour. Okay, here. So on the 1-hour time frame, you can see that we traded right, we dipped into the level and then it immediately pushed up, right? So it traded up here, and then this down candle traded back into this down candle, which was an ICT bullish order block, trades into it, finds support, pushes up. These down candles are now trading into this down candle, which is an ICT bullish order block, because this candle closed above it. So it's an ICT bullish order block. We should expect that to hold as support. So again, I'm not saying that this is the low, but we have to take into consideration that this traded into a daily ICT bullish order block, clearing out a lot of liquidity below the market. So if we cleared out a bunch of liquidity below the market, where is all of the next liquidity going to be? Everyone who sold the whole way down, right? So where would they likely go? Back up here. Look at all this money that's just up here. All of this white space up here is just a ton of money from above all of these highs. Each high has stop orders resting above it, where there's potentially orders resting, and where the market is likely going to want to go, because it wants to basically offset the positions for the people that were selling the market, right? So for anybody that's short and they've been making money this whole way down, they're going to think, oh, it's going to continue lower. So we do have, things that we have to consider in terms of this up movement here, which, we want to see it break above that and make a higher high on a 1 hour time frame here to really indicate that we could get some, some nice movement up. But, until that, if we hold resistance here, we could still trade lower. But, this is kind of like what we want to think about. There's no time or day that we could actually predict or say that the market's going to start just pushing up this day, and we don't have to know the specific day because there's so many opportunities to get on board on these lower time frames, as a day trader. And what I'm talking about, though, these moves are, we're talking potential 100 pips a day, easy setups. I'm not saying that we're going to be trading every single day catching 100 pips, but when we do trade, the trades will be significantly larger than 20, 30 pips, anything like that. So I don't know if you guys remember, there was a couple moves that we've taken on cable that we've got like 70 to 100 pips or so. And when this thing really starts moving, you get nice big ranges. So that just means, a lot of pips. And we don't have to put a lot of money behind that because whenever we're able to catch a lot more pips, you can reduce your risk. So there's no need to go in there trying to over leverage your account or anything, going crazy, trying to make a ton of money, because the market's going to give us ample opportunity to get on board for these moves. So I want to see cable break above this 30.80 level. So again, I'm not going to be taking anything for the rest of the week, but I just want to see what kind of price action we get off of this level here. Are these down candles going to hold as support, and we're going to keep pushing up for the remainder of the week? Something else that we have to factor in is today's Thursday. Tomorrow's going to be the end of the week. Generally, the market likes to reverse on Thursdays. So if you think about it in terms of a weekly candle, if you think about what a weekly candle does, you have the open, which is Sunday. Okay, you have the open that occurs Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then generally, Monday, we don't trade because the market usually does a fake out or it goes the opposite direction. When it's trading in the opposite direction, it's forming the high or the low of the week, right? So Sunday, the market opens, trades up, forms the high of the week. What happens for the rest of the week? Bearish. Massive sell-off, right? Then we form the low. When does the low usually form? Usually Wednesday or Thursday. Generally, if it hasn't formed Thursday by London session, it forms typically New York session. So if you factor all this in, today's Thursday, New York session, we've traded into a daily ICT bullish order block, clearing out a ton of liquidity. And these are all things that could indicate the market wanting to push higher. But again, we need some sort of indication on a lower time frame, structure to be broken, to start, knowing that we're going to be trading up. But I just wanted to kind of indicate, using, when you're a day trader or when you're operating off of these lower time frames, you also have to factor in what's occurring on the larger scale, right? So we're within a week. Today's Thursday, is towards the end of the week. Generally, people are doing what? They're taking profits on their trades. They're closing out their orders for the week. They're going into the weekend. So typically the low of the week will form, and then they'll trade up and they'll close. It doesn't really matter where they'll close, but they'll close up maybe a higher or anything. But, Friday is when the market closes. Now, if it's a continuation or anything like that, then it'll keep pushing lower. But you have to anticipate these things on a lower time frame, and you have to look at what price is doing on a bigger scale. So like this daily time frame. Not many people are probably looking over here at what this candle could potentially be. Everyone's probably selling this market right now. Think about how low it is, right? In comparison to all the money that's built up way up here, all the people that have been selling, right? So if they start finding support here, while all these like beginner traders and retail traders are going in trying to sell this market because it just broke below this low, they're thinking that it's going to just continue and it's going to keep going, way over here. And maybe that is the case, but we need, this low, or we need some sort of indication of that here. But we have too many reasons to believe that this could be potential support. So we want to let the market do its thing for the remainder of the week. Friday, let the market close, but let's see what kind of price action we get going into London tonight and then New York session tomorrow, because early next week we could, if we anticipate a large, look at it from this perspective. So this week we had a large bearish week. So if the market finds support where it's at now and closes somewhere's up here, or even closes bullish or something like that, I mean there's no telling, but say the market closes here or wherever it closes, when the market opens up next week, everyone else is going to be still trying to short this market because it just broke out and all this other stuff, broke these trend lines or whatever type of things they have on their chart. But what you have to think about is the market is going to open on Sunday. If it trades lower Monday and into Tuesday London and finds support, then you're going to be looking for the market to just continue trading higher. So if we have a large range bullish week next week on GBP USD, we could take advantage of that, because it's likely going to be a fast, quick move if they do decide to continue, if they decide to take it higher from here in reverse, because everybody that's selling this market, they're not going to want to let them stay in too long. So I don't know. I hope I didn't confuse anyone with all this, but I just got really excited from today's price action, because that's why I'm not trading, because I'm really excited, but I'm not trying to go put money at risk because I think that this could be the low. But to me, it just feels like there's too many things that are lining up that this could be something. It may not be a low that holds for that long, but we could get, a nice little push up from it, providing a nice little setup going into next week. But that's why I want to stay away from the markets in terms of trading any real money or anything, because there's too many emotions involved right now. I think, oh, this could be the low, it's traded into this ICT bullish order block. We had a massive move, broke structure here. We got a lot of liquidity below here. Everybody's going to be selling it. It would make so much sense for them to trade higher. And, I don't want to be have that much emotion going into my trades. I want to let it prove to me first. So let it break some structure on an hourly time frame. Prove to me that it's going to likely want to push up and clear out some liquidity above here. But I need it to do that first. I can't just go in here right now, because I'm gambling. I'm simply gambling if I go in right now and thinking that this is the low. So I'm not going to do that. Antoine, what about when it's a bullish week? I'll answer that in just a sec. Well, it's really not going to take long. So if it's a bullish week, it's the exact opposite, right? So let's look at dollar index. If we're looking at dollar index on a weekly time frame, the market opened up on Sunday, traded lower, formed the low of the week, traded higher, formed the high of the week, Thursday, New York open, and then has since traded lower. right? So think about if we go into this and it's going to be, if it's going to close, down here, it could, form a bearish candle and close, way back down here or something like that. And then we open up early next week and we just start selling off. So it's just the exact opposite, Antoine. There's no difference. If the low of the week is expected to form Thursday for a bearish week, then it's the exact opposite for a bullish week. You would just expect the high of the week to form Thursday, typically New York Open. Yes, Antoine, typically the high would be at the beginning of the week. So if we look at this, what was the start of this week? It was the 15th. So that was here. All right. So let me mark this. Actually, we don't have to. All right, so right here is the weekly open of this week's trading, and you can see the market initially opens up, trades lower, trades lower. What happens here? Tuesday, market forms a low. Where did it form the low at? Within this ICT bullish order block. After clearing out these lows, then it pushes higher. Okay, and then it broke above this high here. Market traded into this ICT bullish order block. Then we got to push higher here. So everybody is thinking, okay, this thing's going higher, formed a higher high, all this stuff. But look at the immediate rejection that we had off of the after clearing out those equal highs and the ICT bullish order block on the ICT bearish order block on the weekly basis. The high of this candle came in at 95.65, and that weekly ICT bearish order block came in at 95.62. So it went into it by 3 pips and immediately sold off. Right here, the market traded lower than this down candle. As you can see, it pushed up into it, acted as an ICT bearish order block, sold off, formed a lower low. Okay, so what would we expect going forward? We would just expect the market to trade back up into this, hold as resistance, and continue selling off if this thing is going to go lower, right? While everybody else is buying it right now. So, I mean, look right here. First headline, emerging markets bleed capital again. Investors say now is the time to buy. So they're saying it's time to buy dollar index. So, I mean, that's just, don't believe the headlines. Okay. Oh, and I wanted to talk about Euro GBP. And then we'll wrap this up. So, looking at Euro GBP, we've been talking about this ugly, massive consolidation that we've been in since September 2017 back here. And look at what's been happening. Massive daily candles, massive bullish daily candles. So what does that mean for Euro GBP? That means that Euro is stronger than GBP. So if we're expecting weakness on dollar index and we're expecting strength in Euro GBP, which of the two pairs, Euro USD or GBP USD, would be the better trade? Euro USD, right? Because Euro GBP is expected to go higher, which means Euro is stronger than GBP, and dollar index is expected to go lower, which would mean strength for foreign currency. So what would that mean for GBP USD? It could just consolidate. It could push up together and just disregard what Euro GBP is doing. They could hold Euro GBP still in a consolidation. But at the end of the day, like we could, we have all these things that we can factor in. So, Euro USD may be the better opportunity for us. We may see significant, bigger moves in Euro USD versus cable, GBP USD. So we always have to look back at this for reference. So while we were in this consolidation, both pairs were pretty much able to move in sync with the dollar index. So it'll be interesting to see with, this price action that we've got so far on Euro GBP, if that Euro strength will cause cable to be weak or just sit in that consolidation. Well, sit in a consolidation. I don't want to say sit in that consolidation because it's not consolidating. We're forming lower lows and stuff. So, that's why I'm saying everyone is probably selling this market right now. Because we do have bearish price action. That's why I'm not trying to just pick the low and say, oh, okay, we are, that's why I'm not saying, okay, let's just buy it and say it's going to continue higher and we're going to target, 144. We can't assume that. We would have to have structure broken on a daily time frame. But as a day trader on an hourly time frame, if we break above 1.3080, we can likely expect 3260, 33 big figure, and that's 200-300 pips. So if we catch 200 or 300 pip trades next week, does a 30 pip loss this week even matter? No, wouldn't matter at all. Right? And if we continue lower, we've been breaking lower on a daily time frame. So if they do trade up and find resistance, then we can still make 200-300 pips on the downside. Because where would the next level of liquidity be? Below 1.28. How far away is that? 200 pips. Right? So either way, it doesn't matter which way they go. Right? So, and look at what I'm just going back to Euro real quick. After looking at Euro GBP, I just want you guys to get an understanding of what's going on here. So if Euro GBP is pushing higher and Euro USD is consolidating right now, couldn't you expect a potential big moves coming? Because what's happening in here? Everybody's buying and selling. They don't know which way it's going to go. So if we just get explosive candles to the upside, then we could see, we could see that coming because Euro GBP is a lot stronger. Euro is a lot stronger than cable right now than GBP. So we still have to wait for it to prove to us, but these are just ideas and things that we have to consider when looking at the markets. Dollar yen has traded below this ICT bullish order block here, formed a low. So we could probably expect some weakness on dollar yen now. Trade back into this ICT bullish order block at the 111.15 level. And that could be a pretty nice trade for next week. So again, looking at these other pairs, you can see this kind of looks like it's forming a top. It could trade lower. And look at the dollar index. It's the first in the currency pair. What does that mean? It should move similar to the dollar index. It should move in sync. So if the dollar index is weak and this looks like it's forming a high, this could be indications, all indications of potential tops forming in the market. Now dollar CAD, strong bullish day. We're within this ICT bearish order block here, so it'll be interesting to see if they start selling off from here. But at the moment, there is, after yesterday's candle, it doesn't look weak to me personally. That's why we have to let these things play out, because this is all based off of a higher time frame. Like when we looked at that monthly chart at the beginning of the live session, that's off of a monthly time frame. So we have to think about, these ideas are a lot longer term, and they are going to provide us a lot more pips in terms of trading ranges. But, we can't expect to look at a daily time frame here and always expect, what we see to be the thing that unfolds. So while this could hold as resistance after yesterday's candle being so bullish like this, and these equal highs here, we could get a pop up above that and then sell off. So Again, I'm not going to be trading dollar CAD. I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'd rather be in euro or GBP and dollar yen. I like all three of these pairs right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the daily technicals. Yes, I see it. Looks like it might be starting to push a little lower. So it'll be interesting to see what dollar index does to close out the week, if we close bearish, or what it ends up doing. Yeah, so that's it, guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and post those in the chat box real quick.
After this track, I might need me some lozenges. I ain't about to go soft. This rapping shit lately been pissing me off. Guess these words are kinda just at the tip of my tongue, but I'm still young and I hope I find the rhymes that'll live through time before that fat lady has sung. Cause when I'm inside this booth, feels like I rule the world. But I'll hop off my horse, hop in your Porsche, give it a